Hi everyone, I'm back. Partially. So for those who don't know me, I'm Clown Teeth. Hello, I'm an artist. And I apologize for the hiatus that I took after I posted my last video. I was trying to get my shit together, and I'm still technically on hiatus. It's kind of complicated, but I basically just wanted to focus on my art for a bit and refresh myself before I decided to post on YouTube again, if I wanted to post on YouTube at all, actually. Due to just some personal life things that I was dealing with and some mental health struggles that I was dealing with. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to continue the facade, I guess you could say. But I am back. However, I am going to treat my channel like an art diary, where I'm just going to go over whatever art projects that I'm working on, or just whatever art that I want to make, and just yap about it. I know I posted a community post a while ago saying that I wanted to go over the Return to Silent Hill movie, or do sort of like a video essay about Silent Hill stuff using Return to Silent Hill as the reason, and I still want to do that. But more under the guise of, like, wanting an excuse to talk about one of my hyperfixations and to show off all the cool art that I've been busting out ever since I got invested into this hyperfixation and I just stopped giving a fuck about what kind of art to post on social media. If anything, it was just, like, an excuse to just draw more Silent Hill. So yeah, one of the things I'm going to talk about today is that I decided to redesign my 4 main OCs after almost 10 plus years of having them. They're my oldest characters out there. I do have way more characters in this. I have almost over 50 at this point, but these 4 are like the main characters, or just like the predominant characters in the 4 comics that the other OCs I have are in, if that makes sense. And a lot of them might be extremely familiar to you all, so without further ado, let me just continue with my art journey and my Clown Teeth art diaries with me redesigning my old OCs, and let's go down memory lane a little bit. Also, it's my birthday today! Yippee! So thank you all for the preemptive birthday wishes I'm most likely going to get in the comments section. And yeah, this video is also kind of a bit of a celebratory thing with me being 1 year closer to death. I mean, being older than dirt. I mean, being born in the Stone Ages. First up, we have Car Thorn, who was my first OC ever, and probably the one that I assume most people are familiar with if you've watched me for a long time. The changes to her design came slowly, mostly due to the fact that I realized I had a bad habit of making my characters have 5 shades of the same color for no other reason other than it might clash. There were like 3 shades of black and 2 versions of red and I put brown and orange to give it a bit of contrast, you know, kind of like a warm color contrast. I think my brain was subconsciously getting exhausted trying to make this work. And also the fact the design just seemed so simple for the art I wanted to make. That was something I remember getting a lot of shit for, that my designs were too simple. Fun fact, the main reason I was doing that was because I wanted to dress up as my OCs. I would look at clothes I had owned, or clothes I knew I could easily get at Hot Topic, because I was a Hot Topic kid, and I would have my characters dress up in what I could find so I could live the fantasy. Car had an extra element in the fact that this was during my Marvel phase. Reading the comics and when the MCU was at its peak is when I started to become a Loki fan. And I just loved how his little cloak he was wearing was split up like that at the very bottom. And I wanted to do that for Car to give her, you know, a little upgrade, because I thought it would be cool and also contrast against Loki, because, well, I shipped them together. Self-insert before becoming her own character. What a scandal. However, the biggest thing was her colors. Why did I make her black and red? Was I an edgelord? A stupid kid who didn't understand color theory? Shadow the Hedgehog? No, actually. It was Harley Quinn, primarily from Arkham City. I would stare at the statue I unlocked of her and would just study her outfit, how the red and black crisscrossed, and it was in every detail of the corset, the pants, the boots. Even better was her outfit in Harley Quinn's Revenge, where black was a much more predominant color and the red was more secondary. That's when I knew I wanted that for myself. Also, comics fueled this. Harley, Spawn, Nightcrawler, Deadpool. Just so many of my favorites had these colors that I thought this is what I wanted for a comic book character. I made her a bounty hunter with guns and a sarcastic sense of humor. Deadpool was a total influence for sure. It was pretty clear that Car was supposed to be my attempt at making an anti-hero because that's what world I wanted to escape to at that time. But as I got older and started to make my own world and got invested into dark fantasy, I knew her design wasn't going to make the cut. It was just boring, and it had this aura of too superhero-like. You know, most superheroes that have like slick, simple outfits, it was like that. Along with the fact, as I was getting more comfortable adding textures and cross-hatching into my art, I knew I could do it better. There was an outfit I found that caused the light bulb to go off. And then it turned out to be AI, so I had to dig further. Ugh, I fucking hate the internet. I started out digging into dark fantasy aesthetics, since I wanted to be as self-indulgent as possible. A lot of my choices were influenced by, Bloodborne. Okay, gamers, don't kill me. I love the art of Bloodborne, but Lord, I can't play it. Please don't kill me. After shifting through different references and playing around with different hat designs, coats, and leather pants, I ended up with this. Dreamkiller, the purple ghost that gives Car her monstrous form and power boost, was a big influence for her color palette. Instead of just black, I tried to give a subtle purple undertone to complement the red and brown. In the end, I'm glad I never gave up on this character. Even after all the shit I got for her color palette, her being misunderstood as a creepypasta character and not scary, I wish I was joking, or just the influx of hate I got during my drama all those years ago, to the point of people redrawing her and insulting my intelligence. My longtime friend I've known since high school told me recently, when I got more selfish with my art, I was at my happiest, and it showed in the newer pieces I made once I learned to stop giving a fuck about what idiots on the internet think is good character design. Of course, any genuine feedback is welcomed. Honestly, I just love to yap about art with you guys. But yeah, Kara's done, and I think I can take my comic into a much greater direction now that she looks like this. And it gives me hope for all the other characters that I have as well, because I have a lot of work to do. Ellis has changed so much since I last drew her, and looking back at her old art, it's almost laughable I gave her a human side, since she changed into an entity so ambiguous that there's no solid conclusion as to whether she was born on Earth or somewhere else. Anyway, her design originally was, again, based on a jacket I actually owned. It was a dance costume I wore when I was a teen. Get it? Dance? Yeah, I used to do competitive dance, hence why I made Alice a dancing clown. And maybe because of Pennywise. Yes, I wanted to make a clown to ship with him, and oh my god, Alice being submissive ain't no way. There's no way she would make him her bitch, are you kidding? Yeah, she's a lot, hence why she needed a more ringmaster type outfit. I played around with different outfit designs that I thought could elevate her, assets. Zatanna was a big influence in that regard. Eventually, I settled on this look with a ringmaster coat that was open instead of covered up. As I pondered the anatomy, my brain started to analyze the details I had neglected. Should I make her boobs bigger? Okay, in all seriousness. The more I sexualized... Why did I write this? Why did I write it this way in the script? The more I sexualized this character of mine, more and more I started to ponder why I was doing that. Because in this day and age of art Twitter and the where are her organs type people, it's rather curious I'm making what is essentially a psychological horror character, but making her so pretty? The obvious answer would be because. Though realistically, it was because I had a million thoughts all at once. I wanted Alice to play off the idea of the demonization of women's bodies, or just her being a form of human sin, which historically leads back to women in some way. She's very appealing, exaggerated proportions, inspired by my love of drag queens more than anything, and she also psychologically tortures you until you can't take it and you're transported into her stomach. I might be insane. Honestly, it's kind of crazy bringing all this new info to everyone because I'm sure most people remember her being an It fan character that, oh my god, this ref is so bad looking. The fact that both this and Cars Ref got 16k views combined on DeviantArt.com still blows my mind. I was working with a shoestring in a dream. My self-deprecating brain understands the hate this character got the more I stare at this. Fun fact, did you guys know that when the first It movie came out and I was simping for Pennywise, people got so mad at me? Like, they thought I was rage baiting when I was minding my business, and people would say Alice being a, quote, It OC somehow made her lesser of a character. Then again, this was the same crowd who called Carthorn edgy trash. I have strong emotional attachment to Alice, along with Car, because she was something I made during a time I felt my art was being restricted. The It movie in 2017 changed my view on horror and just clowns in general. It even happened again after Welcome to Derry came out. Pennywise is the link to my inspiration. This greasy, disgusting Rat King reject is my muse, and I will gladly be changing my art direction once Season 2 comes out in the It cinematic universe. Anyway, here's Alice. Hope you like her, because she loves you.
There's a chaos that reigns at the heart of this beast.
Next we have Angelique from my comic Pyroland. Honest to God, I don't know if anybody remembers this character. Unless you're from way back and saw her art pieces like this one and so on. I feel bad I have kind of neglected her in some way. The reason for it was back around 2021, the Dark Ages, I had drawn over 195 pages of her comic in 3 months. I would wake up, go to work, then come home and work on 3 pages a night. And I did that with no deadline or payment. I just did it for my own free will, thinking if I didn't start it, I would never get it done. Once I did get it done, things seemed to be going great. However, I never touched the comic again, because I got massive burnout. I refused to even look at the pages, let alone the characters, and there was just this disconnect in my brain, and by the time the inspiration came back, I was almost embarrassed. The pages looked like garbage because I rushed them, and my self-hate took over, and I just never touched it again until now. I don't even know if I want to continue Pyroland at all. But after drawing Angelique again and getting inspired by this dance costume, I know I had to keep her and the rest of the characters around. Angelique is my love letter to Gothic circus aesthetics. The Devils Carnival, a very obscure musical that makes Repo look like Hamilton, made me want to explore the ideas of being trapped in a performing limbo and trying to uncover the secrets of human desperation under the oppressive rules of higher beings we call gods. Or, you know, more excuses to draw clown characters. There's really not much else to say. Unfortunately, a lot of Angelique's design and mystique is a massive spoiler. The most I can say is that she's influenced by my love of dance and ballet. Black Swan played a big part in her lore. You can fill in the blanks there. Also, she's very dead. Well, all the characters in the comic are dead, because it's a circus in limbo, hence why she has a very ghostly pale design. But that's all I can really say. If you guys are interested, I'll for sure talk about more of Angelique and the rest of the crew once I get down to redesigning them, but one step at a time. Okay, hi, editor Klown here. After I had written this section of the script and gotten Angelique's design done, I really started to contemplate what I wanted to do with Pyroland in particular, and I think what I want to do is that I just want to rewrite and redesign the entire thing. Because the story was something I wrote in high school, so there were a lot of things that I was like drastically changing because a lot of shit that my high school brain thought was genius is really fucking stupid in retrospect. So I think what I'm gonna do as maybe part of my art diary journey, once I actually get to it, like I said, one step at a time, is that I'm gonna try to rework Pyroland into something that seems much more in tune with what I like. So obviously, much more gothic, much more dark fantasy, much more on the horror aspect of it, and just the idea of just death and heaven and hell and just being trapped in a limbo in a sense. I had a lot of religious elements involved in the comic. I don't know if I want to keep that because I tried to be as accurate to the Christian Bible as I could while adding like my own little spin on it, and then it just kind of became a big mess. But I'll figure it out. If I ever figure out how to do streaming, that'll be like something to look forward to if any of you guys are interested. But yeah, I was very stumped when I was writing this part of the script, but after re-evaluating things and actually finishing like Angelique's design, I think I'm just gonna rework the entire comic because I like suffering. This one is a bit of a lie. A YouTuber clickbaiting, someone ring the bell! Altair is my most recent main character, as her concept spawned back in 2019 when I made this demon design. At the time, I was using it to cope with feelings I was dealing with, but after that time faded away and I started to feel better.
Haha, that's funny because my life only got worse afterwards.
Fuck was that? Anyway, I couldn't let this design go. I went ham on this and I knew I couldn't just abandon the idea, so I started the slow process of coming up with a new comic. At this point, I had a dark fantasy comic, horror, and whatever Pyroland is. So what theme should I do? Looking through my collection of comic books made me nostalgic for the superhero genre, mainly with Spawn and Batman. Then, one sleepless night later, it hit me. I want to make a superhero comic. Not just a superhero, an eldritch horror superhero. The design in retrospect was very eldritch. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea for a demon at the time, but then again, with the amount of horror movies I was watching, I probably thought I had some deep symbolism or something. While I do have my criticism of H.P. Lovecraft, horrors beyond the human mind is pretty fascinating to me. It's something I relate to more and more as this regime I'm currently trapped in plays out in real time. That feeling of despair and no consequences and seeing things you know are bad, but the rest of the world is like, it's fine actually. I think that was the kick I needed to really give this superhero story something interesting and personal. A storyline that can be looked at years from now thinking, yeah, that's what it felt like. I ended up naming my character Altair after the brightest star in the Aquila constellation. I ended up reading a stupid amount of astronomy, since that's what my hero's secret identity is going to college for. Speaking of that, you may have noticed the design has a lot to do with her face opening up. The whole idea is that she gets infected with an eldritch parasite unleashed by the big bad in the story, and her face literally starts melting off and turns into tentacles. So she has the ability to unleash this Demogorgon-style form at any time ready for battle. Her human form was probably the trickiest to nail down. At first, I did a pretty bland design with her almost looking like Mary Jane. Eventually, once I started to become more involved in the goth subculture, I changed her design to be more gothic, 80s trad goth to be more specific. For some reason, it still wasn't working. Maybe it was her face looking off to me or not being able to nail her hairstyle. She eventually just went into the back burner as I was dealing with my soap opera of a personal life. It wasn't until I started fixating on Dreamalgia's artwork that things started to click. Yes, I know, all of my OCs have fluffy hair, go figure. Could I have easily done a more spiky straight hairstyle design to make her stand out and improve? Yes, however, it's my art, so fuck you. Soon after, I started taking inspo from Heather Barron Gracie, the lead vocalist of the band Pale Waves, specifically when she had this look with her black hair. Oh yeah, that's her. And Veronica Balin was finally made. She's a goth in her own unique style, and her personality shines through her hair and her face alone, stoic and serious against the much more intimidating Altair. I love this design so much. It's like I can finally see the vision and what visuals I want to make with her. She gives off a troubled young adult trying to make it through life, but has this dark secret inside her, only for that secret to be the key in saving the world. Or maybe she won't. Most eldritch horror ends in total disaster, but we'll see if Americans have the right to vote in 2028. Hope you like her! Oh, I also forgot to record this part, but if you're wondering why I made her orange and blue, which is usually a pretty controversial contrasting color combination because, you know, the Broncos, I was playing around with her color palette, and that's what I originally had done. I had made her orange and blue because I just love contrasting colors, and that was just a color combination that I had missed. And wanted to experiment with. I almost didn't want to go with it, but then after looking at the artwork of, oh god, I'm gonna butcher this name, Mariusz Lewandowski, after seeing his beautiful work and how he used light blues and oranges as contrasting colors for a myriad of paintings, whether representing good and evil or horror in different aspects, yeah, I think I picked the right color combination because this combo rules when it comes to monster art. And that's it. The recording is only about 20 minutes. I apologize if you guys were expecting a much longer video, but that's pretty much all the energy I had for talking right now because, like I said before, I'm on hiatus, but I don't, it's kind of confusing. I want to post videos again, but for my own, like, pleasure. I don't really want to do the YouTube grind anymore. YouTube is not my job. Like, I have a job, a well-paying job within the career that I got my bachelor's in, just fine. And I'd rather just use YouTube as an archive to look back on for when my art evidently improves, maybe even more in the next decade. I just want something for me and my friends, and if any of you guys are interested, to just have a laugh with, and also to discuss art topics with. I feel like that's a missing art form, and since DeviantArt and social media is either AI slop or just not really existent to have these high discussions that are popular, this is all I really got. So if you guys stuck around, thank you, I appreciate you. If you guys have any critiques or any art topics you want to talk about in the comments, or even like some art topics you want me to make videos on, by all means, let me know. In the meantime, I'm just gonna focus on improving my art and just posting on my other socials. I will link them in the bio if you want to keep up. But yeah, in the meantime, I hope you guys like my redesigns. I'm definitely gonna be showing these guys off more and more through short-form content for a bit, because it's just fun, and I love art memes. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.